What's up? We're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite music videos. It's called Cigarette. Co-directed it, shot it, and edited this music video. It was super low budget. The song's amazing. So real quick, Julian hit me up because they had actually previously shot this video already, but he did not like it. It was not the vision, not the vibe. He basically was like, this is the budget. I can get you out to New York City. We could rent a camera and a lens package, but that's pretty much it. Maybe some lights. You're not going to be able to hire a crew except for like one person. I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. Love it. I'm not scared. I got flown out to New York City. I rented a red GEMINI because I knew that we were going to be doing a lot of just run and gun stuff in New York City, so I wanted something that had low light capability. I went with the GEMINI. Love that camera. I think it's one of the best cinema cameras that exists. You know, Julian loves anything vintage, as do I, so I was like, okay, well, I could get us some Lomo Anamorphics. Pretty much shot almost this entire music video on the 35mm. There was some stuff that we shot 75mm, but it was just so run and gun. We did the whole video in one day. You know, anamorphic gives you double the width horizontally. If you're on a 50mm spherically versus a 50mm anamorphically, your horizontal field of view is as if it's like a 25mm. So you're getting double the width horizontally with that same depth. It's incredible. And then the Lomo Anamorphics, they're old lenses, man. They're from like the 70s or 80s, depending on the set that you get. They're perfectly imperfect. They flare so easily, which is just great for music videos. We weren't able to do this over a weekend. That's like the hack of the industry that everybody does. If you aren't aware, if you rent equipment on a Friday, you get to keep the equipment for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, return on Monday by noon. Or if you were rent on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday, you're going to be paying the full price for each of those days. And then there are weekly rental discounts as well, but the main one, rent from Friday to Monday for the price of one day. That is huge. It sounds crazy. It sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not making it up. I'm telling you, that's what you do. I mean, it's because mainly rental houses are closed on the weekends. Very few are open, and if they are, they're usually open on Saturday till like noon. I don't know when it was generated. Someone throw in the comment when it was, because I would love to know. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Let's just start this video. I mean, just from the first shot, that microphone on the ground, it's just, I'm telling you, I didn't have to do much. I really didn't. I had a bunch of Titan tubes. We knew that we wanted to do this video in black and white, mainly because this song kind of has this timeless feel to it. Yeah, I love this shot. He just picks it up, cuts right into these super slow motion shots, the guitar plugging in, all that's shot at 120. And we had the tube strobing. We did have a Leko, so it was like a spotlight in the corner of the room. And that really helps the flaring, which you'll see throughout this video. But yeah, that whole performance space, I mean, you can just see that flare. That Leko is just beaming. The Leko is like a stage theater light, but the film industry, we adopted it basically because it's just so good. And it's hot. It's a hot unit. You have to have gloves. It will melt your hand. If you let that thing run all day and then you go up and touch it, you'll be burned. I have done it. So you definitely have to have gloves. That's your warning. The other lights, the Titan tube, they're fine. They don't get hot like that. But I'm just rocking this handheld. Remember, we did a few takes on the 35mm lens, and then we did like a couple on the 75mm. There's only like maybe 2 shots that are on the 75mm that were only in that performance area. It's great. It's great. Focusing is very difficult, but I found that the 35mm had such good close focus that I was able to get dynamic shots. But one of the things that I loved was that I threw the camera in 4K and was able to do 120 frames per second. The GEMINI is a 5K sensor, super 35mm sensor, but the sensor is physically larger than, say, the Komodo, which is what I'm shooting this on, also super 35, but the sensor is larger on the GEMINI, so you get like a larger format feel. That's one of the reasons why I like it. But yeah, if you go 5K, you can do 96 frames per second. In 4K, you can do the 120. And I thought it'd be interesting to just shoot the cymbals crashing and the drums at 120. I mean, I think it just feels so dynamic. Now we're in the room. All these shots, like, absolutely love it. I mean, her aura, her look, everything about this image is fantastic. I mean, that's lit with one Astera tube, just this tube. All the stuff in the room, we're just knocking out. You know, we're literally like, all right, cool, go over here, great. Put the tube right there, awesome. And action, look into the camera, this is great, love it, love it, love it. Maybe you look over at him, wonderful. What do you think, Julian? Because we were directing it together. He'd be like, all right, what if, oh, I know, I'll lay a cigarette and then we'll do this. Love it, looks great. Because when you're doing music videos and you're shooting in slow motion or doing scenes that there's no dialogue, you can talk, and you should talk. You should be communicating constantly, because otherwise the actors or the performers, they don't know if what they're doing is looking good. They're seeking direction. I might say, look this way, step closer to the mic, or do this or do that. Because sometimes you see things in the moment, you're like, oh, like they're standing in the wrong position. Oh, I don't want to throw them off. You're just gonna waste everybody's time. Just in the moment. Hey, just take a step to your right, one big step. Awesome, perfect. Stay there, continue, keep going. It can be as simple as that. You just saved like 3 minutes of this song as it was playing, and then you go into playback and you're like, oh man, I should have told you during the shot. I'm sorry. I know we don't have enough time. So anyways, we're just vibing. They're sort of intimate. They're doing the rolling. Oh, there it is. There's a 75. There it is. And then yeah, the shot at 47 is one of my favorite shots. Yeah, that one's crazy. Tattoos came up in conversation. And he was like, yeah, I have a lip tattoo. And we're like, what? A lip tattoo? What? And then we were like, this is crazy. Like, let's just put it in the video. Because it's like, why not? Julian's such a good performer too. Love that shot of Emily. It's crazy when you look at that shot versus the other one I stopped on. That's just such a different look that she gave. But it says so much. It says so much. Oh, that was so fun. We went into his living room, threw up a Leko, had her play with the camera, and then we started to do some outside stuff. This is how low budget filmmaking works. We went to this bar. Well, let's just see if they'll let us film. And they're like, oh, you guys buy a couple drinks? Like, sure, you can go down there and film. It was as simple as that. We could have been like, oh no, like they're probably not gonna let us film, or oh no, like we're so scared, like Sometimes you gotta be bold in these situations, and it's like we wanted to have another element to the video, so we just asked. This was my favorite part of the video in terms of the flow of the edit, the mixture of slow motion, the real time. I mean, look at her. The softness of the lens. You can see the Astera tube in her eye. It's just one tube. That's back in the room where she's up against the curtain. And this is like the third look from that same spot. There's 3 different looks that she gave us that just dives into your soul. You see a little bit of bokeh on the bottom left, the fall off on her hair. You're just so focused on her eyes. They're so sharp. The resolution of that camera and the sharpness is just... That's what I love about mixing the modern technology with the old. And then we start mixing in these strobed shots that were in slow motion, but I sped them up in post, and it gives you that sort of jarring, like, shutter feel. Him at 217 is crazy. He's James Dean. He's a movie star. This is just us in his bedroom, with one light. There's a little narrative in this, but honestly, it's like a performance video mixed with this couple. You can look at We Found Love by Rihanna. That's a great reference, I would say. I think it being low budget made this video. If we had a bigger budget, we probably wouldn't have been able to get as many shots or raw moments. Sometimes you can find your best work with limitations. You hear it all the time, but it's true. You don't always have to have a big camera and crew.
Well, where's the big camera and crew? That's not necessary.
You can do things with just the help of one other person or by yourself. If you are creative enough, you will find a way. But yeah, thanks for watching. I invite you to subscribe to this channel and check out some of the other videos. I've done breakdowns. I have some motivational videos. Shoot me a message on Instagram or YouTube. Send me links. I love watching work by fellow filmmakers or people that are rising, and maybe I can answer some questions or give some insight, or if there's videos that you would like to see on this channel, please put in the comments. I appreciate the watch. I hope you have a great day. Go out there and shoot.
I love making movies! I love making movies!